Hello my fellow riders, today we're going to be talking about how to repair the panels on your bike if you have a mishap. So this is a panel from a Yamazaki YM50 125cc, and as you can see there is a crack. And what we're going to do, we're going to repair it so that it's stronger than it was before, and we will get rid of the crack off the front as well. So with the so we'll break this down into a couple of different sections. So the first one would be preparation, the next would be filling, or the strengthening of the back, and then it would be the repair of the front, and all the steps in between. Because this is in a high stress area, these do have a tendency of snapping sometimes with vibration. So the first thing you've got to contend with on these sort of things is, number one, it is never going to be as good as it was originally unless you take it to a professional. I'm not a professional panel repairer, but I can do it better than some people. So I will show you my way. You may want to do it slightly different to how I do it, but this is just a general look at how you repair the panel. So the first problem you've got is all of this is very smooth. So if you do decide to put anything on top that is going to be strengthening the panel, if you don't scuff up the back first, you'll find that whatever you stick to the back won't stick, and then you're going to have issues of it just delaminating afterwards, and it's not going to strengthen it, and just a pointless endeavour. So yeah. This is some 400 sandpaper. This is a wet and dry stuff, but it's some of the more rough stuff. And all you want to do is, don't worry about it, just sand it down a bit. Give it a little bit more rough. Just so that there's something for it to adhere to. Now you can also get, say there's a drill bit, just now that surface is rough, it's going to adhere to that a lot better than it would to the smooth. Another thing as well is you want to make sure that there's no grease and oil on here as well, because otherwise this is going to make it so that it's not going to stick as well. You can use brake cleaner, you can use alcohol, pure alcohol. Don't be pouring your Southern Comfort on there. Any sort of solvent or cleaner is good. So just spray on there, give it a wipe off, and drop that on the floor and break it. But yeah, so that is prepped for what we're going to use to repair it. On this one, we're going to use some fiberglass. You can get the hot staples, which will hold it. You can melt it with a soldering iron, but I found that it will go brittle if you use a soldering iron. And you can use super glue, but super glue on something that vibrates, you're going to find it is going to break again. There are other things out there that people say were good, like tiger glue and all that sort of stuff, but for this sort of application, I would say that they're probably not suitable. Yeah. Also, if you want to wait until you finished the back side, because otherwise you're going to get flex. You want to fill this in with some sort of filling putty. We're using P38, I think it is. I'll get it out in a minute, but you want to try and make it so that it's as smooth as possible. You fill it in, and then you sand it off with some 1200 grit, some paper as well. But as you can see on this is all greasy as well, so you want to clean this off as best as you can. Oh, I did a number on that. Not gonna work? Well, it should still work. Because again, when you start filling this in, you're gonna have to get a clean cloth. Look at that, it's taking a paint off. But that's alright, because we're going to repaint it anyway. So that's pretty much the prep to this point that we can do. Don't rush this sort of thing, because you've got to wait for everything to dry as it should do. You're supposed to, like the hardener will take 24 hours to do. So you've got to make sure that you do it correctly, because otherwise you'll just end up with it looking absolutely rubbish and you'll have to replace the panel, and it was a pointless endeavour. So take your time, don't rush, do one section at a time. Once you do the back, then leave it for 24 hours. When you do the front, then leave it for 24 hours and then sand it and paint it. So we're using the Isopon Fast Glass. Comes with a couple of different things. There's a couple of these things that you can use only once, and there's a couple that you can use multiple times. So it comes with these fibre sheets, a hardener compound, the resin, a brush, lolly sticks. Lollies aren't included. So you can read the instructions if you like, but I'm not gonna. So put in 30 ml. Open up the hardener, which is like a red gunk. Put it in. Again, read the instructions to get the correct amounts, but I'm not gonna. Stir it up until it's all mixed together and it should become like a pinky compound. Now, as soon as you add the hardener, it's going to start to go off. Cut off some strips of your fibre stuff. Use paintbrush, paint it all over, making sure you rub it in so that it's nice and deep. And you want to try and go about an inch or an inch and a half over where your gap is. Now I made too much compound, but there you go. And add your glass. Now some more glue. Now this is going to get messy, but you can always sand it afterwards if you want to. Just make sure that everything's well covered. We get one final strip and go diagonally. Too big. And go the opposite direction to what the other ones were, just so it has multiple directions of strength. Now some more glue. That's pretty much it. Wait for it to dry, sand it off, paint it, turn it over, and then we use a different compound on the other side.
Many hours later.
Now we're giving that enough time to dry, so now we work on the other side. This is 1200 grit. Clean it off to get rid of any edges. I was going to fill it, but I don't really need to. So this is what I was going to fill multi-purpose P38, but it doesn't feel like it needs. Yeah, take it off.
Well, undo that one first.
No, undo this. If I could split it. So instead of filling it, because I don't think there's a need to, I'm going to use this filler primer stuff. Remember, shake it up well. That's it, leave it to dry and then we'll put on another coat afterwards. This stuff takes quite a while to dry.
Many hours later.
Now that the filler's dry, you just got to sand it until it is smooth to touch. The best thing to do, the most sensitive part of your hand is the tip of your finger, and just rub it across and try and find where it's lumpy. So this is pretty much there. A little bit more sanding and then we'll be done. clean off the excess with a solvent of some sort. Just to get rid of any grease. Now you can in theory just tape it off somewhere up here and just do this part. My spraying's not that good, so I'm gonna have to do it all. So I will take that off and spray it elsewhere. And I put too much on, so I'm probably going to have to sand it. But yeah, that's what we're looking at. It's not 100% perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. And potentially doing that, you're going to save yourself upwards of £200 or somewhere around that sort of region. So I'll take this away, I'll spray the whole thing properly elsewhere because I can't really do it in here, but I just wanted to show you for demonstration purposes. But yeah, that's how you repair a panel on a motorcycle. Now you can spend a lot more time on it than I did, but this one, as I said, is just demonstration purposes. The best thing to do is just spend your time, make sure that you sand down this area correctly, and make sure that you get rid of all the bumps and bubbles. So on here I sprayed too much and there's a little bit of a line sorting, but all you do with that is wait until the panel's dried completely, get some wet and dry with 120 grit paper, sand that down, and that will sort itself out. So thank you for watching my video. I hope you've learned something. Subscribe to my channel, hit that thumbs up or comment below if you didn't like it and give me some tips. But as always, ride safe.